partnership is between Mediacom and Aispire. Becky Hendricks has been at Mediacom for about 2 decades. She's in the problem management group. She's also been in the internet technical support supervisor, telephone activation center specialist, and network. Now she's in the network ops center. So she has a lot of experience with customers and solving problems. That's her role, actually, is to manage critical business relationships with the company's largest clients. So she's going to be joined by Evan Davis. Evan has been at Aispire, or excuse me, Aspire. I keep wanting to say Aispire, guys, sorry. He's had 25 years of experience with various startups in Silicon Valley. Some have been acquired by companies like Cisco and Nokia. He's got that strong blend of technical expertise and sales acumen. I feel like I need you in my pocket to go everywhere I go. Something cool about both of them, Becky has seen over 1,000 concerts live. I'm so envious. One of them, I think, 17 times. You'll have to ask her about that. And then Evan, if you get a chance to talk to Evan, you have to ask him about a time when he was in Montana running a dog sled with his family as cargo, and things went a little awry. It's a great story. His wife will never let him forget it. Welcome, Becky and Evan. You both have control of the slides, so I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So the easiest thing to do is just to start, because we have some challenges at Mediacom, and some of them are tools. Our tools are very siloed. Each tool, which works great, is focused on one piece of a puzzle, whether it's a physical layer, logical layer, or anything like that. And to be able to see the bigger picture, one of the things that we are really trying to do, and one of the reasons that we're partnered with Aispire, is because we want to be able to put a picture together that includes all of the different components and all of those different silos. So,
yeah, as Becky has said, there are many tools, seemingly maybe too many tools or too much data, and little of it gets actually pulled together in a cohesive manner. Our solution provides network-wide visibility and an individual subscriber level, all the way up to a network-wide view using standard protocols currently in your network. The system is non-invasive and can be added to any operator network. The first goal of the system is to gather data. Before we can do any AI stuff, we actually have to have data. So we gather flow, BGP, SNMP, DNS, and a bunch of other things such as operator tags, such as groupings like location, service group, CMTSs, et cetera, et cetera. We pull all this together and correlate it together to provide insights and perspectives on the data. Aispire has a product called Network Intelligence Suite, and it's a suite of tools that addresses burst visibility. We must attend to the basics, which is getting all the data together before we can do any AI workload or ML workload. So we correlate it together, we store it, we make it accessible. Part of the system is called subscriber analytics. It gathers data, correlates it, again, based upon an individual subscriber or a network-wide perspective or anything in between. It's stored into an open database and then can be accessible by anybody that needs that data. Becky will now explain a little bit about how Aispire Subscriber Analytics provides easy access of the consumption data.
So Peacock TV does not have we do not have a peer with them. I don't believe that they have their own peering access to cable companies or anybody for that matter. So we started tracking max average peak for over-the-top streaming services in August of 2020. January 13th, 2024, Peacock streaming game between the Kansas City Chiefs and Miami Dolphins has actually been the largest average peak that Mediacom has ever experienced. And it was at 4.36 terabytes per second at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So that was interesting for us. We wanted to get some information. We grabbed it from multiple different sources, subscriber analytics was part of that, but we used other sources and other tools that we had at our disposal at the time. Now, the recent Peacock TV streaming game between Philadelphia and Green Bay, which was the first Friday night game that they had on September 6th, the average peak wasn't quite as high. It wasn't the Kansas City Chiefs and and all of that. But what you're looking at now is the actual information that Aspire has given us. It took all of those different things that we had and put them all together into a single, easy to consume information about that particular night. The next one, go ahead.
Yeah. What I was going to say is just set up the peering insight. So the first insight was more about visibility, and again, it's anywhere from a subscriber all the way up to network wide, and it's sliced and diced in many different ways based upon service or location, things like that. The next use case is based upon peering, and so within the offering is a peering insight. It pulls data from peering routers, correlates it on a per router, per peer, and when used with subscriber analytics, can also be understand peering by subscriber or groups of subscribers. Becky will explain the main goal of the system is to understand peering with traffic patterns and consumption, but it can also be used in long-range analysis.
Yeah, one of the things that we did find after we implemented the peering insights is we started to see some unusual drops and spikes that were on our Minneapolis egress router. There were drops and then they were followed by extreme spikes. This were things that we'd never seen before. And it actually happened 3 Saturdays in a row in a 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. time frame. That was new for us. We were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So, but we started to see it happen at other times, but still only on this particular router. So without this Aspire data that we had, we would have never seen the issues. The previous provider didn't give us the same granularity. So we did engage one of our own engineers who determined that the iOS on the router was incorrect. And that was what was causing these issues. And then we completed the maintenance to get the correct iOS on that router, and we have not seen those issues since.
This is an interesting use case because the primary use case of the peering insight is for BGP and peering visibility. However, this use case shows the natural extension of what the solution can offer due to the system, how the data gets received by the network, the ability to support any SQL query, and the ability to query over time and over long periods of data. The platform really helps us find the needle in the haystack, even if it's a new insight or use case that we didn't anticipate. The ability to store and access long-running data, along with the open-ended ability for unlimited use cases, is very important as we looked at more ML and AI workloads. The next thing that we work with Mediacom on, and we'll just kind of talk about it in a generic sense, but is security. So since the network intelligence platform correlates a wide range of data and stores it in a standard database, we find customers come up with some very unique use cases on how to use the platform. When we originally designed and developed the subscriber analytics system, we had everything you've seen in mind thus far. However, customers are smart, they understand the network, they understand their network, and when they see a platform that has certain types of data, can take any standard SQL, and has long-term retention, they get very creative. And as a result of that, of the correlation and the platform, operators are now using the system for security use cases. We recently delivered a security insight that provides visibility into traffic entering the network on a very detailed level. The system baselines all 65,000 incoming ports, allows for watch lists of interesting data, or interesting traffic, however you want to define interesting, and provides an easy way to do ad hoc reporting tool for any layer 3, layer 4 conversation over the entire network.
Now, the last one we have is video. So Mediacom recently migrated a whole community to our IPTV product. So we have no QAM video going to this particular community. So that was great. We got that done. Woo, yay us. But then we're like, well, wait a minute. We need to get some more information. So we said, hey, Aispire, can you take a look at this for us? And we had them help us determine the average bandwidth and the average bandwidth rate for those customers. Can you take a look at that traffic? Can you determine what the ABR was? Are we using more or less bandwidth with the IPTV only? And can we use that information about, you know, where we're at with it to predict any kind of bandwidth needed or bandwidth changes that we need to do when we want to roll the IPTV product out to another community? Because right now everything is pretty much cap and grow. We've got a couple of new communities that we're adding to a full IPTV, but right now it's cap and grow. So we want to be able to say, hey, let's look at this. If I take this information, can I then translate that to this community and tell me what I need to do?
So Mediacom's IPTV use case is unique. On one hand, it's very common, and on the other hand, it's unique for us and for Mediacom. We are at the beginning of the rollout of IPTV, or moving QAM to IPTV, and we're very happy to be part of that part of the analytics to help them roll that out. So we were very happy to be part of that and help Mediacom understand the impact of moving from QAM to IPTV. But one of the basic parts of the Aispire Video Insight really tracks all IP-based video, whether it is, you know, what we would consider over-the-top videos such as Netflix, Hulu, etc., or internal IPTV video such as what Mediacom is doing. We take it a bit farther because we understand not just that it's IP video, but we also understand it by subscriber. And we can report on streams per subscriber, per service basis. So this allows us to come up with stream quality, again, whether it's on an individual subscriber basis or groups of subscribers, such as service groups, CMTS, or even over peering when used with the peering insight, how ABR changes or doesn't change or is consistent based upon those service groups, based upon those services for any over-the-top service. I think we're on our last slide, which is at Aispire, we were working on to really answer some difficult questions. They're seemingly easy to ask, but they're difficult to answer, which is it the customer's problem? Is it the content provider's problem? Or is it the operator's problem? We keep adding more data to the platform because answering these questions cannot be done by looking at one data set or even one layer in the network. This year, we are working on adding a performance component beyond what we are offering with the Video Insight. This will allow us to add data from different layers of the stack and correlate performance across the entire network and even outside the operator's network. The tools, to recap, the tools really are siloed today as well as the data is siloed. These silos are physical, different systems. They're also logical by layers, and the only way to truly answer questions is to pull it all together, correlate it in a meaningful way, and have a platform that can automatically monitor and provide ad hoc analytics. The data needs to be retained, needs to be easy accessible, and a good amount it needs to have long-term retention so that we don't need to rely on humans to watch, but rather have models for identification and notifications. So that's it.